Thank you for joining Asia's best radio station.
www.ballyballyradio.co.uk brings you the latest Bollywood news, updates and film promos. Download latest podcasts of Carry On Harry Show on iTunes.
Now shake hands with celebrities on Singapore talk show Carry On Harry.
Inviting music composers, producers, artists on board on Carry On Harry Talk Show for connecting you to worldwide audience. Write to Harry Johal at CarryonHarry.com or visit www.CarryonHarry.com for more details.
Hi friends, welcome to yet another show with your talk show host Harry Johal. Today we have a very special guest who is joining us from Texas. He is not just a book author who has written a book, but he is also someone who has laid the foundation of music legendary singer Beyonce. Well, the book is titled Making of a Child of Destiny, the Andretta Tillman Story. According to Mr. Brian, this is the true story of Beyoncé and Destiny Child rise to fame. So hopefully through these talks with the author, we'll be able to know more about the life and time of Beyoncé, her rise, and the rise of the Destiny Child band group that was formed. So let's get in connection with Mr. Brian K. Moore. Hello.
Hello, Harry.
Hi, sir. Good evening, Mr. Moore. Welcome on Carry On Harry Talk Show, sir.
Great, thank you.
Well, I was going through the details about your book, and a lot of things and curiosities are involved in my mind also, and I'm very much sure that you are pretty excited also to share your story about writing of this book and the incidents that has happened and which prompted you to write this book.
What prompted me to write it? What prompted me after all these years was the story of what really happened and how Destiny Child and Beyonce and everybody got started to change dramatically to where it was just that Matthew did everything and where the rest of the team was left out. So I just felt it was time to set the record straight.
Okay, fine. Yeah, because Beyonce, everyone, the whole world knows how she has risen like phenomenon, and behind the rise there are people they are always involved who support in the initial days, and you being one of them. And I am very much I do understand your point of view that there are some things always if you are not being given some kind of a credit or there people don't acknowledge your contribution to the rise of a person. So sir, tell us how are you connected with the rise of Beyonce, and before we really discuss about the book itself.
Okay, well, I originally, I'm from Houston, Texas, where Beyonce is from, and I was brought into the fold by the lady that the book is about, Andretta Tillman, mm-hmm. And she created the group back in 1989, when Beyonce was 9 and the other girl, the oldest girl, was 12, and from there, she and we managed them, and they became Girls Time and managed them all the way up to the point where her daddy joined the team, and then they became Destiny, then Destiny Child, and Andretta died in 1997, so we had just completed recording the first album with No 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 as the lead single coming out, and so we were there all the way through, negotiated the Electra as well as the Sony deal Andretta did, along with my help.
Correct. So, sir, would you like to tell a little bit about, how closely you have worked with Andretta, and what kind of influences had been on your life about, the person about whom you have also, written in the book?
Okay, well, me and Andretta, we were the best of friends. We met, like I say, back in 1989. I was working with a couple R&B groups in the U.S. at the time, and she was putting everything together. But we worked hand in hand to manifest the careers of Beyonce, Kelly, and the rest of Destiny Child. And we, like I say, it was an everyday task, and she invested, hundreds of thousands of dollars to get them to that next level.
Correct. So before writing of this book, I'm very much sure, a lot of questions would have been also in your mind, that what things you would like to disclose and what things you would, hesitate to write about. Because every success stories has got, a lot of good things to write about and a lot of bad things to write about. So as an author, like how challenging was it for you to, reach a stage where you were able to decide what should be written and what should not be written?
Well, there were so many people and so many things that could have been written, and I did not want to write the book to where it came across as being a vindictive book, and then at the same time I didn't want it to come across that I was glorifying them even more. What I wanted to do was write the book as best I could with the recollection that I had of the events that happened, so the reader could get the full understanding of what happened, and that the reader, would know, the struggles. They would know the upsides, the downsides, and that it was not just a easy journey that that Beyonce and the girls woke up one day and were superstars. There were some struggles that went on, and I want everybody to know the behind the scenes, so you have a better appreciation of all the girls of what they went through, as well as Andretta, of the sacrifices and suffering she endured to get them to their place in the sun, their fame.
Absolutely right, because everybody deserves, recognition, and especially like if a person has, had such a phenomenal success, and it's not like one person's efforts alone. Actually, is a whole teamwork. If whole teamwork is dedicated, and since you have been closely, associated with her, Andretta has been closely associated with her. So each one of us, along with the, the contributions from her father, everyone should be given, proper recognition. And so I have a curiosity to know about, your book, The Making of a Child of Destiny, the Andretta Tillman story, versus the information that is circulated all over, in the newspapers, in the media, or on the internet, comparatively, how different is the two information? Something which is coming from your pen and something which is, which has been written by the media, because after all, media has also been following all these celebrities over the years. So where is the difference actually?
Well, the difference in my book and, what people write in the media, I wrote a first-hand account. I was there.
Correct.
Nobody is telling me of these events. I was there. I watched it happen. I watched Beyonce, where a lot of people think Beyonce was the original lead singer. She was not. I was there when Beyonce took her first steps to become a lead singer and thus, catapulting herself up. So the one thing that's different for my book is it's a first-hand account. You're going to experience what happens behind the scene, with the girls, with Matthew knows, with Tina knows, with Andretta, with myself, and the struggles and the different things we went through. You're going to have a first-hand account. You're going to be ringside for the show.
Yeah, in a way, sir, what I was thinking was I would agree with you because media normally follows stars only once they become stars. So whatever they do, the paparazzi or whatever is there, they come to know about all this information through fans and so media can be in a way, having a picture which is, after the success of a person. But your account about Beyonce has been something which has been like her initial days before when nobody knew her. So, sir, let's dig a little bit deeper into the book now. Would you like to tell us a little bit information about early days of your association with Beyonce, like when you first time met her, like how it was, and the initial days, so that my listeners who would be prompted to buy this book, The Making of a Child of a Destiny, the Andretta Tillman story, they know that what they are approaching to buy it, a sense of curiosity about the book itself.
Yes, well, the early years, when I first met Beyonce and the girls, was at a picnic that Ann, once I came on board as a manager, Ann set up a picnic for me to meet all the group acts, not just Girls Time or Destiny Child at the time. So, when I met all of them, they were just great young girls, excited about being in the music industry. And the main thing where me and Beyonce specifically became close, we used to travel back and forth to California to do recordings. And so I would, along with Andretta and the other lead singer, Ashley, we would travel together exclusively. So that was a time where, I got to experience Beyonce growth and the type person, kid she was. She had great values and things, and was just a hard worker and was determined this was something she really wanted to do. So, the book is just telling the story about everything from them going to California, who gets selected, at the auditions, how Beyonce becomes the lead singer, what happens there, how Matthew comes on board, what was the life experiences that Kelly had that ultimately that people, speculating about, and now they'll get to read it in the book, what happened with Latavia, there's some words that, about her being molested when she was young. So, the book goes over everything. I mean, we don't leave out anything. We tell everything firsthand of what happened. So, I mean, if the reader wants to know and are fans or not fans of Destiny Child and Beyonce, this is something so you'll know and appreciate them from now on. I mean, you'll appreciate them, the success they've been able to achieve.
That's a great piece of information, related to the book itself, that what aspect of Beyonce's life would be reflected and what aspect of Destiny Child's rise to fame will be associated with the book. So, sir, while you were writing, did you come across any writing blocks, like sometimes when you think about, narrating an incident about a successful person's life, and the media has painted a very different picture, and you don't want to involve any controversial stuff popping up later on, law litigation and all those things, people accusing that this information is incorrect, what's that been stated in your book. Were you very thoughtful about this aspect of the controversial side of the incidents which has been reflected in your book while you were writing, or did you compromise a bit?
I was concerned about what I was saying. As I said, I didn't want to just create come in and bash anybody, but I wanted the events and of what happened to be known. I did not have a writer block. Actually, I wrote the outline for the book in 1999, 2 years after Andretta died, and it was just some events that I explained in the books that came along, different people coming back, asking me to help them, in music and different things when I had walked away. And then so when it was just events that, the reader will find out in the books as the events unfold that almost forced me to, okay, hey, let me tell what really happened so these people, the world would know.
Correct. Since now, so you have already mentioned that you walked away. May I have the pleasure of knowing what was the basic reason, that you separated yourself from Destiny Child?
Well, as the reader will find out, and it's public knowledge that Andretta Tillman died of lupus in 1997, and then shortly after her death, there were some events that transpired that I'll let the reader find out in the book. But there were some things that transpired that I felt I had gone as far as I could go with them. The girls, like I say, were having, we were already. They had soundtracks and different things. The first album was out. And it was just time for me, I felt, to go my separate way. And when I did, I've been very successful in technology and as far as the Internet and the impact that social media and radio is having to the Internet. So it was just time. And as it's time now that I return. Correct.
And during while the book content itself, what is the stage where your book concludes at? Because it's a story of someone who is living. What stage was it that you concluded your book at?
Well, I concluded the book at it tells Andretta's story, and then it tells the events that happen and. What happens to the creation of Destiny Child and then Destiny being fulfilled. And then so basically it's bringing everything back full circle is where the book ends.
Correct.
Where we started. It talks about where we started. And then ultimately, some pieces falling back into places to where we all, come back, and to a common place. not that we got back together, but we just come back to a common place of peace.
Correct, sir. You might have also received, some kind of reactions from, the family of Beyonce, or, from Beyonce's own her, like, statements coming about. Anything that you found, that, people have tried to bring you down, in terms of the stated facts about your book, especially since it involves Beyonce's father, Matthew Knowles,
right,
in the book itself.
The content of the books have not been challenged. Because I am who I am. I was the other manager. I was the other co-owner of Music World Management. We all started that together. So that piece there really can't be disputed. The only issue that's really been is that getting the mainstream American media to pay attention to it. It's as if, Beyonce is, this icon that they don't want to damage in any kind of way. So, they're hesitant about, really digging into the book. But, they'll find that it's good and bad. But
correct.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
So a lot of time people, don't want to hear the truth. So the biggest thing has been surprising is the media. So like we had a magazine article that came out in France, and immediately some of the the American media said, "Oh, hey, what there's something fishy about this article." So it's just been things like that, and it's wherever the anything is mentioned about the book, because it's very some details in there that is good and bad for everybody.
I got your point, sir. But won't it be like, good thing, since you have been very closely associated with Beyonce, what if she, you really, like, talk, like on the table and, come to a point where, she endorses the facts about, her childhood days, her rise, have you ever, like, thought about this aspect? That probably then the media will also be more open, especially the American media,
Yes. I would love it if once she reads it or whatever. There's some details in there that because she was a kid, through most of this. There's some details that she didn't know, and she's going to find out that's going to be surprising to her. I would love it if she read it, and her reaction will be, I think she'll find it fair. It's nothing to just go in and bash her or anything like that. It's just the events and the facts that happen.
Correct. And did you put up some initiative, on this, idea that, maybe you would have thought about, before releasing of the book itself, that you should have, a kind of made an approach to meet up with Beyonce and, put up the facts in front of her and, and then, reach out to a stage where, both of you agreed that, okay, this is a book about, your perspective about Andretta Tillman's story. Did you ever think about this thing?
I thought about that, but you got to understand there are over 20 books out there about Beyonce life.
Correct.
And all of those stories paint a picture of people looking from the outside, and they're writing about what they're being told to write. This book is about it's the only book about being on the inside, that's ever been written about Destiny Child and Beyonce. And did I think about the approach? Yes. And even the publishing and all that we thought about, because, word got back, different word come that, hey, they may want to shut the book down and things of that nature. So I wanted to tell my friend's story, and I felt it was time. So I didn't feel I needed anybody's permission to tell the truth.
Correct, sir. Got your point. So, right now, since you are already marketing this book, what kind of feedback has been coming from people and fans of Beyonce and Destiny Child once they they read the book and they really approach you to give their opinion about the book itself? So would you like to share any of the feedback from positive aspect or from the critical point of view?
Well, initially when the book came out, I'm glad you asked. That's a great question. When the book came out, they it was getting bashed, even before people had even read it. They were like, oh, this book is going to bash Beyonce. I don't want to read it and all these different things. But the blessing and the great thing that happened was that there were those that read it. And a lot of the blogs that were coming back to me, or people messaging me and emailing me, they came back and said, well, I appreciate you writing the book. This is a great book. I learned a lot of things I didn't know. I didn't know these things happened. I didn't know Kelly went through some of the things she went through and all that. And so the great thing about it is the people that were bashing me early are now some of my biggest fans as far as, supporting the book. So, like I say, it'll take you on a journey and let you appreciate, Beyoncé and Destiny Child even more.
Absolutely right, sir. And how was the reaction of media? I'm very much sure that, writing about a personality like Beyonce, who's, as we earlier mentioned, is an iconic person, and media and journalists would have a lot of curiosity that they wanted to, read your perspective since you have been closely associated with her success. Yes, it's of course that people have read your book, those media people have read your book, but has anybody come forward to, critically write about it or, appreciation or some kind of appreciation in the media itself?
Well, I've had, other writers who, or there were some writers that are written Beyonce autobiographies or biographies that have written me and congratulated me and thanked me for the book and how well it was, that it was a great read and things of that nature. Everything that we are hearing from the book and from the media is the people that have read it is very positive. They think it's a great story, and we've even had talk where people are talking about possibly making it into a movie. So it's slow going, but it's moving. Like I said, you got to understand, B has such a great following that we're not going to be able to convert everybody over to want to read this another part of her life. Absolutely. Overnight. Yeah. So it's going to be a slow uphill climb, and we're prepared for that. Absolutely right,
because after all, it's not easy to convince everybody about your part of the things. Even people are criticizing even the masterpieces of the world itself. So controversies and critics will always talk about it. Something which is good according to your taste might not be good according to the other person's taste. So it's just a two point of view, and we have to really accept the facts and move on ahead. So right now, sir, apart from releasing and marketing of this book, what are the other aspects of your life that you are involved with, since you have been very closely associated with the music industry for so many years, and what is all happening around in your life right now?
Well, right now we're back in the studio. We got a couple new acts coming up. In fact, I'm working with and I partnered with Andretta's Tillman's son, her oldest son. Mm-hmm. We're now partners in the music industry again, like he and me and his mother was. So we have some nice act. One act coming up is named Physique. He'll be coming out in 2015. We're working diligently on that album, and still working a lot with internet companies and building apps and different things like that, and coming up with, like I say, the social media impact on the music industry and things of that nature. So being very busy, but, keeping keeping all of my
correct
avenues open.
Okay, sir. So you have been,
You still there?
Yeah, I'm still there, sir. What's going on right now in my mind is, as you were telling me that you are still associated with music industry and you're going to introduce in 2015. A lot of listeners, they might be also having curiosity of knowing, that a lot of like artists and new artists come on my show itself. They would like to know, what exactly, a person requires to do, if he really wants to make something like big in their life. Yes, there are so many artists and there are so many, great artists, but they don't have that name or fame coming up to them. They are still, struggling with the independent form of music. They are trying to market themselves. But what, according to you, is one thing, that an artist should always consider, apart from creating the music itself?
Well, the one thing that I think that artists should always consider is to be true to what they're doing. And then from there, you can't just be the show. It's called show business.
Correct.
It's So you can't just be the show and not know the business.
Wow.
So you have to know the two. You have to work the two. And once you become knowledgeable of the business piece, it'll be an easier transition for the artist to gain exposure and not be taken advantage of. Because the industry, you're going to pay for what you don't know, whether it's in royalties or copyrights or just paying upfront money to go record. You pay for what you don't know. And, I think that, the artists nowadays, you have a lot of avenues, and you have to take advantage, and you have to invest in yourself. And like I said, in the social media, these different apps and, websites and different things, you need to take those chances and get that exposure out there. Because, it's not like I could create a song and go to the club at the corner and only 20 people hear my song. Now, if I create a song, the world is my oyster. And I think the artists need to start looking at it as such. Any avenue you have to get somebody to listen is an opportunity for somebody to buy your material or become a fan.
Correct. Another point, sir, which is striking my mind right now, as were telling me about the internet world and all. According to you, sir, is it name and fame, easy to come nowadays in comparison to the time when Beyonce as a child entered into the music industry, right? In the beginning days, because nowadays YouTube is there, and other avenues are there where people they are able to showcase their talent, and the music is something which people are nowadays creating also on their computer itself, just with the keyboards. So what is your perspective about this aspect of creation of music and marketing through social media channel and getting an instant fame? How is it different from those times?
Well, the old people from where I'm from, Mississippi originally, and they used to always say, easy come, easy go. So I think it speaks volume for itself when you have an artist like Beyonce that went through the struggles, went through, a 20-year career, from the time she's 9.
Correct.
She, a lot of people look at her like she's just been around 10, 12 years, but Beyonce's been in this, almost 20 years, here, give or take 5 years. I think the big difference is, back then it was you did the work and then you slowly got feedback. Now everything is instant gratification. I can upload something to the internet, people like it, then I'm a star. But that is fleeting, because my next offering, they're not really fans. Because it's just like I hear a song, I like a song. They're fans of the song. They're not fans of that person because they don't know that person. But when you come along like Beyonce came along, people knew her and watched her grow. So you feel invested in her. So now you're a fan for a long time, and she's going to be around a long time. So that's the big difference that I think, that, you really don't build a true fan base. You just you're the hit for the moment.
Correct. So absolutely right. I agree with you, and your statement, what comes easy goes easy, is something, which is wonderful, and that was, something I really enjoyed about this thing. And of course, followed by the great advice from you that, that a person really needs to be dedicated. It's easy to get name and fame, but to sustain it is something, which really requires a real talent and hard work going behind. And since you have been instrumental in the rise of such a great artist like Beyonce, you have seen her life closely, you have seen the struggle, the inputs that these great artists put into their work to reach the heights, the pedestal heights where they have reached, and today they are iconic figures, and the world wants to imitate them, world want to follow them. And coming an advice from somebody like you, who is having such a tremendous amount of experience, and who is a close witness to the reality of of a phenomena. So I think my listeners would greatly appreciate your this effort, and I'm really honored, sir, that you shared such a wonderful advice on CarryonHarry Talk Show. So, sir, before we end up today's show, I would like to give my platform of CarryonHarry Talk Show to you. Anything that I missed and that which you feel that I should have asked you and you really want to speak about it, sir?
Well, I just want to say to your listening audience that the story is a great story of triumph, of heartbreak, of Andretta Tillman. She was a phenomenal woman. that I think, will, and a mom,
Correct.
life that will, touch your soul. And it's such a touching story, and the triumph that came with it. And you can reach us, and we're also looking for artists, especially, in the Asian market. You can reach out to us at www.dousic.com or dousic.net, and just drop us a line, and we'd love to, or drop us a CD or something, or a track, and we'd love to hear it and give you our honest opinion.
Wow, great, sir. It would be like a lifetime opportunity for anybody to, go through, what you just now shared, that if they really want to like make it big or something, they have dreams of pursuing a career into the music field, and something, if they get associated with your company, I would think it's a very, very humble offer from you, that, you want to, invest your expertise into making up the career of, these youngsters who would be listening to this show. So overall, sir, how do you find to, come on CarryonHarry Talk Show? Did you really enjoy today's talk?
Harry, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and anytime you want me to come back, please have me.
Definitely, sir. I would love to, get you back on this on the show itself. It was really an honor for me connecting, sir. With that, sir, I thank you very much, and we'll be meeting up very soon.
Thank you, Harry. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you for being in tune with Best Talk Show. Carry on Harry with entertainment editor Harry Johal on balabala.radio.co.uk. Inviting music composers, producers, artists on board on Carry On Harry Talk Show for connecting you to worldwide audience. Write to Harry Johal at CarryonHarry.com or visit www.CarryonHarry.com for more details.